Okay. If anybody's out there, can you please let me know that you can see me now? I don't know what I did wrong there. Um, but I seem to be logged out of everything as well, which is slightly annoying. There we go. Um, let's try this again. Okay, so that's that. And I'm seeing my face at least now, so you all should see me. So that's cool. Right, so wait. Yes, so global style variations. Hey, Carlo. How are you doing? Cool. So I need to go here quickly and find the article I am looking for so that I can reference it. Styles variations. And this is how I generally search for things on WordPress.org. I just click on the search button because the search is pretty decent. It's this article that I need here. And I'm going to stick this in my notes for my workshop. I'm going to pop that in there. Okay, so global styles are a way that you can have multiple styles in the same theme. You basically start with your main theme.json file, which contains all your settings and all your styles, and then you can create different settings and different styles in a variation. So if you have a look at, I think 2022 has variations. I think. Let me just check. Because this was released in 6.0. Yes, so here you go. So if you edit a theme, so let's go back. So 2022 had it, and I think 2022 is the only theme that has it. So if you edit a theme and you click on the global styles icon and you click on the browse styles button, then it gives you different style combinations. So these style combinations are what's known as style variations. And when you apply it, so that's the default one, when you apply it, it affects a whole bunch of things. So it affects colors, it affects text, it affects fonts, or any combination of what you want it to affect. So you'll see this one is pink with a different font and different layouts. This one is black with different things. So these are the combinations that you can create. So if we have a look at 2022, this is the wrong folder, so let me open the site that I'm working with. Here we go. So let's have a look at 2022. So we have, there is the main theme JSON file. So it has all the custom templates. It has all of the settings enabled. And then at the bottom, it'll have all the styles set. So it takes the settings that are set up and applies them to globally or to various elements. And that is the main global style for the site. And then if we have a look at the styles directory in 2022, here are the styles that were applied from the styles picker. So there was blue, there was pink, and there was what they called Swiss. So let's have a look at those. So I guess that one was blue. Yeah, there it is, blue. That one's pink, and that one's Swiss. So if we have a look here, they're doing things like enabling duotone colors, enabling a different color palette. So if we compare, let's compare the color palette for the first one, for the main, where's the gradients? Here's the palette. So the color palette in the main theme JSON, the foreground color is a certain color, the background color, the primary color, secondary color, and tertiary color. And then in the variation, the same slugs are redefined with different colors. So in this case, foreground is the same. No, foreground is different. In this one, foreground is white, I think 6Fs is, as opposed to black. The background is switched around, so the background is that color. The primary color is different, so from that hex value to that hex value, and so on and so forth. And then you'll also see that there's custom spacing, there's custom fonts. So in this case, there's a custom font that's been set. If we look at the fonts in the main theme JSON, down here, there is the system font, and then there is the Saucer of Pro font set. Whereas in the Swiss, there's obviously now a new font that's been added, and then that font is applied elsewhere in the theme. So that basically enables this functionality where you can select and change things, and that changes to your entire site. So if we had a look at, for example, the page template, you will see that changing the style on the page template changes how pages are defined. And this is very cool because it's effectively you're creating, to an extent, a child theme. If you think about child themes that only contain layout and color changes and font changes, CSS only changes. Much of the customizations that one tends to do when creating a child theme is through CSS. So this is cool because it enables you to add these options to your parent theme and give your users multiple options. So you could, for example, have a web agency theme, and then you have one for sort of, one type of agency and one for another type of agency, and folks can just install the theme and select their variation and then build their site from there. So this is quite a cool thing to do. The one thing I do also suggest is that if you're building themes, is to try not have too many variations, because as we all know, with too many options, too many choices, it becomes overcomplicated, it becomes confusing. So you'll see that 2022, for example, just has these 4 variations. If we have a look at the 2023 theme, which is currently being developed, the 2023 theme just has a bunch of base templates, and then it has a whole bunch of styles. So there's aubergine, there's blockout, there's canary, there's all kinds of fun things. I actually think I'm going to clone this theme now so we can have a look at it. I might even have it locally. So which site am I in here? LearnPress. So let's switch over to LearnPress quickly. Sites, LearnPress, content, themes. Yeah, don't have 2023, so let's just clone it quickly. And we'll enable it and we'll see how many variations there are there. So let's pop over here. And enable 2023. So you'll see 2023 by default is a very simple theme. Very basic, black and white, with a few, minor differences here and there, but it's a very basic theme. And then in your styles variations, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different styles, and you can go crazy and apply. And that's one look, and that's another look. And I'll be honest, I can't wait for 2023 to come out so I can install it on my blog and have a different style every month. Literally, I'm hoping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm hoping they add one more. Then you've got one for every month of the year. Because then I will literally switch styles every month just for the fun of it. So if you're part of the themes team and you're watching this, one more style variation, please. So I would say, 10 to 12 is probably a good average. But I just really like the ability to be able to just go crazy. And I can even, looking at these, I can think about the kind of sites that I would build this for. Like this one could be like a funky agency blog. That could be sort of a news platform. This could be some kind of, I don't know, hacker style thing. I don't know. So I just love all these different variations and what you can do with them. Anyway, it's enough about me rambling on about variations. Let's create one. So to do this, I am going to delete some test themes that I've been fiddling with. So I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to leave that one because that's something I'm busy working on at the moment. But I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to use the Create Block Theme plugin to do it. So if you haven't attended one of my workshops before, you know that I love Create Block Theme. It is a plugin in the WordPress repository that allows you to create block themes. And it has options to export the current theme, create a child theme, clone the current theme, overwrite the current theme, create a blank theme, and create a style variation. So we're going to use the create a blank theme to create a blank theme, and then look at creating a style variation. More recently, it also has the ability to enable fonts to your block themes when you're developing them. And there's going to be a workshop coming up soon where I'll talk through how all of this works, as well as embedding a local font. We can actually upload TTF, WFF, or WFF2 files and set them up for your theme, but we're not going to cover that today. So for today, I just want to create a blank theme, and I'm going to call it Global Styles Variation. And wait, that's what I want. And I'm just going to pop that in there, and I'm going to say generate, and that's going to create my blank theme for me. So let's go and have a look at what that does. So the theme itself, no, that's the wrong theme. I don't think I've activated the other theme. Yeah, so let's activate that, and then let's edit it. Okay, so it's very simple and basic. If we have a look at the global styles, if we look at typography, for example, it just has the default font set. Let's go and have a look at what it generates, the code that Create Block Theme generates for us. So here's, no, not my new blank theme. It was Global Styles Variations. So the theme JSON has a content size and a wide size set. Spacing units, it has the system font setup, which uses whatever the system font is. And you'll see if you run through these, there's the Apple one and the Mac one and the Ubuntu one and the Windows ones. Okay, Laura, I think that's you asking the question about hosting on .com. I think I saw your question in the meetup, so we'll chat about that in a sec. I think that was you. Just make sure of that. Linda, sorry, not Laura, Linda. So Linda, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah. In fact, let's just go back to here and we'll talk about this. Yes, hi Linda. So you're saying you're hosting a WordPress.com and you use local. The problem I've run into is that I've been having trouble locating the global edit settings. Different hosting and different themes seem to have them in different locations for global settings, or I just can't find them. Okay, so let's chat about that very quickly because that's not a bad thing to talk about. I don't use WordPress.com for hosting. I use a company called Pressable. Nothing against WordPress.com. I've just never used it. I do have a WordPress.com account, so we could go and create a site there in a second, maybe. But what I do know is this. I do know that if you don't have a block theme installed, so I'm going to install a regular theme now. And I know that 2021 is, so let's actually take a step back. Let's go to WordPress.org and let's go to themes. And yeah, so if you go to WordPress.org/themes, it lists all the themes. And there's a new label there that says block themes. Now, block themes are basically the new themes that are developed using the block editor, as you might have seen from some of the workshops. But anything that was created before that is what's known as a classic theme. And there's a bit of an argument about the naming of it, but it basically refers to the previous, before the block editor way of developing themes. And that was using PHP and HTML and CSS and JavaScript and kind of coding everything from scratch. So if you have a look, if I go back to the editor here, 2021, for example, is an example of a classic theme. And you'll notice that when I enable 2021, under the Appearance menu, it now goes to Customize, Widgets, Menus, Backgrounds, and Theme File Editor. But when I activate 2022, those options change to Themes Editor, and then because I have in Create Block Theme installed, those options appear. If I disable Create Block Theme, let me just show you that, deactivate it, and I go to the appearance menu, it only has themes and editor. Okay, so number one, if you don't see the editor option in the menu on the left hand side, then you're not using a block theme, number one. Number two, and I'm going to do this off screen just so that I make sure I don't share my password or anything. I'm going to log into WordPress.com quickly and go to a site that I've created there. So just give me a second here. Let me find one. I created one a while back. Yes, here we go. Okay, I'm going to bring this over. So this is a site that I created on WordPress.com. It's just this jonathanbossinger.wordpress.com URL. So let's go there. And I kind of use this to do things and fiddle around with things on WordPress.com. So there's the site itself. And when I edit this in WordPress.com, you'll see that the menu is more or less the same, but slightly different. But under appearance, I have themes and then I have editor. And that's because I've installed a block theme. So if I go to my themes list, and you'll see that I'm going to show you here, I'm going to just actually bring this alongside my current WordPress site. So I'm going to bring that over there. And where's the other one? And bring that over there. You'll see that the self-hosted site that I have locally, this is what the menu looks like. And on the WordPress.com side, it looks slightly different. It's more or less the same color, but there's some slight differences. And when you click on themes, it looks something like this, which is the traditional way. But if you click on here, it's also slightly different. So WordPress.com has more or less the same functionality, but with some slight differences. And again, if I install a classic theme, so let's go and install 2021, for example. So there's 2021. And let's activate this design. And let's say switch theme. Let's replace the homepage content. That's fine. And then I close this and I want to go back to my themes. And now you'll see the appearance menu again is themes, customize widget. So it's the classic theme way of doing things. So I don't have the site editor enabled in a classic theme. So to be able to have the editor enabled, you need to be working with a block theme. If it's a theme you're installing from the theme repository, it needs to be a block theme. If it's a theme you're creating yourself, it needs to be a block theme. I did a session, either I or I think Sarah may have done a session on WordPress TV, a previous workshop on block themes and the basics of block themes. Locking, yeah, the anatomy of a block theme. I think it's this one over here. Yes. So this is a good video to watch. This will give you a basics of okay, so you're saying I tested this with the same block theme on both local and WordPress.com. It was the hosting site. I couldn't find it. Then you're going to have to check with them, because if they're not accessing things for you like that, then they're doing something different. But on WordPress.com and locally, it should all work the same. And if I don't know who you're hosting with, but whoever you're hosting with, if they're not enabling you to, if you're installing a block theme and you're not able to find, where is it now, the editor option, then they're disabling it somehow or something. And you need to contact them and say, hey, why can't I find it there? But it should be the same. Let me show you, I'm trying to think, one of my pressable sites. I'm going to go off screen again because I don't want to show you all my pressable account. But let me just log in there quickly and just get one of my sites. And I'm not saying you should use Pressable. I just use Pressable because I like them as a company. But there are many excellent hosts out there. WP Engine is one I can think of. I'm trying to think if this might be a good option. So I have this sort of dummy site called Psychotech, which is a URL I have from yonks ago. And it's just a domain that means nothing anymore, but I keep it around for testing purposes. So if I go onto that site, this site is hosted at Pressable. And if I log in using one of these passwords, thank goodness for password managers, that one didn't work. Maybe that one? No, it's not going to be that one. No, it might be that one. Don't steal my password, folks. If I go here, you'll see that I've got 2022 active, and there the editor option is. But if I activate 2021, then the editor option disappears. So if it's a site that's being hosted somewhere and you're not seeing that editor, then check with the hosting company. But it should work on WordPress.com. If it's not working on WordPress.com, then I recommend checking with the support folks. You can click on the little help icon here and contact support, and somebody from support will get hold of you and help you figure that out. Maybe there's a setting somewhere. But as far as I know, it should be in that option there. Okay. So let's close some things down, and let's go back to my theme here, and let's go back to my theme variations, and let's go into the editor. Close the wrong window. There we go. So the cool thing about working in the editor and working with Create Block Theme is I can create a style variation in the editor and then save it in the right place in my theme. So let me show you what I mean by that. I'm just going to maximize this and switch back to my code. So in my global styles variations directory, I don't have a styles folder. So I just have theme.json working. What I'm going to now do is I'm going to go into global styles, and I'm going to change the typography to use the system font. So you'll see the font changes. There we go. And then I'm going to change the background color and make it pink because I like pink. And I'm going to change the text color to red. And I'm going to change the link color to purple. So that'll give us a nice weird collection of things. I'm going to leave the headings as they are. I don't need to change the headings. And then I'm going to change the layout as well. I'm going to change the content width to 800, just for the sake of being different. And I'm going to change the wide width to 1200. Doesn't affect anything on screen, but it should save to something in my theme.json. And then I'm going to change the padding to, let's make it something random like 50, just for the sake of fun. So that gives me some padding around the site. It changes the content width, the wide width, and the colors. Okay, so I'm going to save this, which will save this to custom styles in my database. And I'm going to just show you all what that looks like before I go any further. So if I open up my local environment and I have phpMyAdmin installed, and my local password, and I go into the database for the site, and I go and find the posts table, and I do a search for post type. I think it was WP Global Styles. WP Global Style. I think it's WP Global Style. I'm going to use the wildcard characters just to help me along there. And hit go. There we go. So there's the last one. There's this one attached to global styles variations. So I'm going to just copy that out for now so we don't lose it, because I can use it later. So let's just do a search. This is in the post name. If you've never seen this before, I actually did a workshop on this a while back about where it stores the data and how to find it in the database. So there it is. So if we have a look at the content of this, we can see that it has just stored the changes we've made. So let's actually grab this out and just stick this in a file so that we can read it. I'm going to just create this in the root, just for the sake of being, let's call it pink, just for the sake of calling it what it is. And if we pop this into here, and then hopefully this is going to work. Yeah, it works. I don't use Visual Code Studio a lot, so I forget the keyboard shortcuts. But as you can see, there's the typography set to system font. It's globally. The global colors, background and text. The link text has been set. The spacing has been set. And the content size and the wide size has been set. And then also it's added this is global styles user theme JSON attribute, because it's saying this is something that the user has done. So now the cool thing is I could take this and I could store this in my styles folder to apply this, but I don't want to do that. So first what I want to do is I want to use create block theme to do this for us. Yes. So if that has been saved, so that's good. And something to note, if you're working with styles and you want to clear your styles, you can, in the styles, once you have enabled global styles, you can click on the options and reset to defaults, and that'll change everything back to normal, but I don't want to do that now. If I now go to the dashboard and I go and I make sure create block theme is enabled, and I open up the page for create block theme and I say create a style variation. Now it's going to ask me for a variation name. So I'm just going to call it pink for the sake of being logical, I guess. And I hit generate. And it says the variation of global styles variations has been created successfully. The new variation is in and the path to the folder, and it's in styles pink.json. So let's go and confirm that. So there it's created the styles folder for us, which is cool. And it's created the pink.json file for us, which is awesome. Now the thing to note about create block theme, if you have a look at the theme.json file, so this was created by create block theme. It puts the schema at the top and then settings and then any styles. When it creates the variation, it does settings at the bottom and styles at the top. I don't know why that is. It doesn't matter that it's not alphabetical, but for some reason it does that way around. So I tend to be a little bit kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, that's pink. Is it the one on? No, it's this one. Oh no, it has that the right way around. So let me go back a step. So the one that was saved in the database was the styles were saved first and then the settings. So it wasn't alphabetically. Awesome, Linda. I'm glad. Hopefully that helped you find your way. So for some reason, when it stores it in the database, it stores styles first and then settings. And settings should be alphabetically before styles. But when create block theme generates it, it generates it alphabetically. So settings are first and then styles. I actually quite like that because I like to have my settings at the top and then my styles at the bottom. It just sort of flows naturally for me. So that's just interesting. It doesn't matter because it's a JSON object and it'll get read and passed. And so the fields and the values will be in the, doesn't matter what order they're in, but I quite like that it does that. You'll also notice it's exported the spacing units, which I didn't set, which is that, yeah, that is that one, which is interesting. And it's so what it's doing is it's basically taking the changes, it's taking the original theme.json and then taking the changes and applying the changes on top of the original. So it migrates everything over. So it migrates the spacing from the theme JSON, which is there. It migrates the fact that appearance tools are set to true. It migrates that over. It migrates the content size and wide size, but then it updates it to my new values. It migrates the typography over because it needs it. And then it migrates all the styles over and then sets pale pink and the different colors that I had set. Typography is still set to the system font. Template parts are all the same. This is all the same. So if we compared the pink JSON to the theme JSON, they would have all the same fields. The only difference would be the changes that I've made and any additions that I've made. And the other thing that it does is it clears those changes out of the database. So if I go back into the editor, you'll see the default theme is set. But now if I click on styles and I click on browse styles, I have pink. Yay! So that's one way you can create these things. The other way is just the way we did earlier and then manually exporting the file. So if I go into the default again, and let's say I'm going to make a different style now. So I'm going to change. So let's add a font. Yes, let's use create block theme to add a font. That'll be cool. It's not part of today's workshop, but it could be fun to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into create block theme and I'm going to embed a Google font. Now, if you're in a country that has GDPR concerns, we're going to see if this actually downloads the font or just loads it from Google Fonts, and then we'll talk about that in a second. But the one that I want to add, I was looking at the other day, it's something with an M. I think it was it an M? I can't remember. I was looking at fonts the other day and I picked one that I thought looked kind of cool, and now I've forgotten what it was. Let's take Motel just for the sake of being interesting. No, that's a boring theme. Boring font. Did I see Lancelot here? That's so boring. I'm looking for something that's kind of interesting. Ooh, JetBrains Mono. That's also boring. They all look boring here. I wonder if that's something to do with the way the fonts are. I wonder if that's a bug in the code. They all look the same. This all looks the same. Depressing. Okay, let's go over to Google Fonts. There was an interesting font I was looking at the other day that I thought would be fun to play with. Something mechanic or something. I don't know. Let's take Island Moments. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Let's go with Island Moments. Why not? So let's go Island Moments. It looks like this might be a bug, so I will log this because I would assume it would show that font. So let's add this to our theme and see what happens. Okay, Island Moments has been added, so let's go and see if anything's changed in the code. Nothing's been changed there. Let's have a look in theme JSON, Island Moments. I wonder if this is because I need to actually add this to the directory for it to work. That could very well be the case. So let me download this font. Stick this on the desktop. And let me just put it in there. Okay, let's see if I copy this. Let's see if Island Moments. See Island Moments there. Oh yeah, font face. Font face needs to be set. Okay, so I need to manually add that. Okay, so let's do that. So let's get Island Moments. And let me stick it in my let's pop it in there. And then I need to have a look at how this works. Now, busy working on this, or at least myself and other contributors are working on this over here. So you need to specify the source. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that. This doesn't quite work the way I expected it to, so I might not do this way. But let's do that. I wonder. Let's have a look in the editor and see if that worked. See, this is the fun part about live streams. I don't have to be prepared. I can just wing things and see if they'll work. That didn't change anything. Now there was a pull request about how this works. Create block theme. Is it WordPress? Is it? Yes, there it is. There seems to have been a bug fix recently around this. Okay. So it looks like that functionality is not working 100%. Okay. So it looks like there may have been a bug that has been fixed. Okay. So what I'm going to do is get this code. So this is the cool thing about open source. If you know what you're doing, you can get the latest code and use it. So I'm going to go to my plugins directory. And I'm going to go into create block theme, and I think I might have checked this out. Might not have. No. Okay. So that was installed via the plugin repo, so now I'm going to install it via GitHub. So let's go and remove that. And then we're going to clone the development version of the plugin. I don't recommend doing this unless you know what you're doing. But now I should get the fix that was pushed. So let's go back here and let's delete this. And let's delete that. Okay. And then let's go back here. Island something. Island moments. Let's see if that's worked. Yeah, no. Looks like it's not working 100%, so I'm not going to worry about it now. So what we can do is we can use the example that I was looking at earlier. So let's do that. So here is module 5 of the block theme course that myself and other contributors are working on. This one was worked on by Justin Tadlock. Apologies, Justin, if I garbled your name there. I'm going to he talks about the Google Web Fonts helper. So let's see if we can find Island Moments. There it is. And then I want to download this. So we're going to stick that there. And let's get rid of that. And let's move this into fonts. Babylonica, that's what I was working with. I found it. I found it. Oh, that's right. I was having trouble with Babylonica with doing something else. So let's stick with Island Moments. Okay, so there's Island Moments, and he talks about grabbing the WAF file. So assets, fonts, WAF. So let's get, do we need both? It just talks about WAF 2, so we'll just get the one. Let's copy that and let's go over to here and themes, theme, assets, fonts, and we'll pop it in there. And let's just rename it. Island Moments regular WAF 2. Okay, and then to register it, this is the code. So let's grab, so it goes under font face. Font face for Open Sans. I'm going to copy his code. So name Open Sans, font family, object. So this is what it should look like. That's the wrong thing. I don't want to open that. That one open. Okay, font families. Okay. Font families, and then yes. Okay, because I'm doing multiple, so that's one. And then we'll add this one here. This is in, no, that's not in theme JSON. I want it in, where do I want it? Yes, I want it in my theme JSON. Actually, what I would prefer to do is install it in the style variation. So what I'm going to have to do is install this. Okay, and then I just need this one. That's probably what I had to do for that other one. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to call this, what was it? Island something. Island Moments. It's island moments, and we'll just leave that like that, and we'll leave that like that, and we'll leave that like that, and then we will relative path. So that should give me the path to the file. And put that in there. Yeah, that should work. So that's in my theme.json. So now I should have island moments as a font. So let's go and test that out. Okay, so this is not working 100%, so I'm not going to use that in the workshop because it's just not working yet. And I'll see if I can figure out if that's still a bug or whether it needs to be logged or not. Okay, so let's see here now. See if this works. Hey, it worked. Okay, so now we've got our font. It's kind of small, but that's fine. So now we've got a new font set up. So let's change the text color to, let's change the background color to blue because we're on an island. Why not? And let's change the text color to green. No, that looks horrible. Let's change the background color to green and the text color to blue. I think that'll work better. Still looks pretty awful. Maybe a darker blue. Yeah, darker blue works better. And links will make purple just for the sake of being weird. And I want to make this text a bit bigger, so I'm going to make it large size. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want. Okay, so now if I save this, that'll store it in the database. So what I can do here is I can refresh this. I can find the button. Oh, here it is, refresh. And now I'll see the changes. It hasn't saved. There we go. Let's try that again. And now I'll see the save changes here. So let's pop this into a file. So what I can do with that is in the styles, I can go here and I can create a new file and I can call it island.json. And I can pop that code in. And there we go. And so it's using the island moments font. But I don't want the font in the theme JSON. I want it in island moments only. So what I can do is I can grab the whole typography section and go to island, and in the settings I can add, what have I done wrong there? Settings typography, yeah. Oh, because settings needs to be that there. Okay, and now what I can do is I can take out, yes, I can take the island font out of the theme.json. Now, that's interesting. I wonder if that's like not a recommended idea, not a recommended practice. Just having a little think about that. So let's go and have a look at what 2022 is doing. 2023. Let's have a look at some of the fonts. No, not patterns, styles. So let's have a look at Canary, because that one was a good example. So that's colors, typography, font sizes. Okay, that's interesting. So it looks like it's not recommended to add the fonts to the style. It looks like it's better to add the fonts to the theme JSON settings. Yeah, because here's all the fonts. Okay, so that's actually a note that I need to follow up on because I want to understand why that is. So let me go back here and let me add some questions that I need to follow up on. Why not? I wonder, maybe it doesn't work. Let's see. There's only one way to find out, and that's to see. So if we, let's go back here. So we've got island.json. It's got the font in it. Let me just check. Pink.json doesn't have that user style set, so I need to remove that as well. That's another good note. Let me just make a note of that. Okay. So let me take that out. Version 2 is good. Okay, so the font is there. Oh, that's the other problem, is that I need to, that's why doing it manually is a pain, because I need to take the theme JSON and then overwrite the changes. Ugh. Okay, that's fine. So let's go back here. Let's grab this out. And let's find, this is the one in the root. So I'm just going to call this user styles for now. I'm just going to stick that in there and format it. And then, so then I need to take theme JSON as is. I need to copy the whole thing over to the island style. Good. And then I can add the user styles. So the first thing is the topography and the styles. So the first thing is to add the, you watch, I haven't got that code anymore. There it is. So let's add, yeah, so this is now a copy of theme JSON. Yep. So let's add that font family to here. There, that's done. Okay. And then let's go through and add all the other stuff. So the other stuff is from user styles. It's the topography, font family, and font size. Oh, there are no styles. So it's literally just, I can actually just copy all of that actually. Because there are no styles in the original theme JSON, which is handy because if they were, I would have to merge things and I don't want to have to do that. So that's all of that. Settings I don't need, that I don't need, that I don't need. So that should be island and that should work. Didn't do content sizes, so that's fine. Pink, I did a content size and I didn't do fonts. Okay, island has templates and template parts. That's good. Okay, so that's all good. So then let's delete that file. And you see what a pain it is when you do it manually. Linda says, line 29, do you have an extra quote? Let's take this out. I think what you're referring to is this quote here. And basically this is the slash is to escape a quote. I think that's what you're referring to. Because when it shows up, you want it to have quotes. Actually, we probably could just do that and that, and it should also work. I don't know. I actually don't know why that was in. That might have been in the code that Ryan did because it was for Markdown or something. I'm gonna have to check that because I don't think it actually matters. See, he's got these quotes here, but I don't think it actually matters. We'll find out. That's the beauty of these live stream sessions. I think it's got to do the way you set the font names. You'll see here they're using single quotes. I don't know much about fonts, so I actually don't know the answers. So I'm going to leave them in just to be on the safe side, but that should be fine. Okay, so now, because I've created that file, what I can do is, because there's still a record in the database, so what I can do is I can clear these styles, reset everything to default. And now if I refresh this, it shouldn't be in here. It's still there. Oh, probably because I haven't saved it. Yes, there we go. So now it's been reset and saved. Perfect. So now let's go over to, oh, that's interesting. I don't have an island style here. Feel like that's because I'm missing something. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this out, take that out, see what's going on here. That did something. So we've got default and we've got island. And default's suddenly green for some reason. Don't know why that is. I think I might have made a mistake with my original theme JSON. Yeah, it looks like I have. Looks like I messed up my original theme JSON, which is fine. I can probably revert it to what it was. Yeah, there we go. It's back to normal. Okay, so let's go back over here and refresh. Okay, so that's back to normal. So that works. Let's go into the browse styles. So there's island. Island doesn't have the green coloring. It's probably because I'm doing something silly somewhere. So let's just... So this actually is interesting because this points out the problem with trying to do this manually. I think what I did was I made the changes to the wrong files. Okay, so now we're going to go put this all back. Okay, and we're going to take the styles out of theme.json and put them in island. Because I was working in the wrong file. There we go, that should work now. Okay, so theme.json is back to normal. Pink still has different widths and things. Island has different colors and a new font. Okay, so let's refresh. Okay, so that's back to normal. Styles, hey, there we go. Okay, so island, so it does work. So it looks like you can specify a separate font in a separate variation, which is cool. I want to see if it makes a difference when I put those quotes in, and I'm wondering if those quotes are there for a reason or not. I'm going to have to test this on both the front end and the back end. So let's reload that. And that's styles. It doesn't seem to make a difference. I think this has to do with how the things are registered. So let's just go here and have a look. I'm going to just inspect this. I want to inspect the background. So it's Island Moments is the font family. Yeah, so it's here in quotes. Now, I don't know enough about fonts to know why some fonts have quotes around them and some don't. Although if I look at it, logically, it's because there's a space in the name. Because if you look at Apple System, Blink, Mac System font, Segoe UI, Roboto, Oxygen, Sans, Ubuntu, Cantorol, Vertical New, Neru, Sans Serif, all the ones with quotes have spaces in them. So that makes total sense because if you have a space, it's probably going to throw it out. So you put quotes around it to fix the problem with the fact that there's a space in the name. And if you need to do quotes around a string in the JSON object, you wouldn't be able to do this because the quote character in JSON would stop the string, so that would cause an error. So the one thing that you could do is you could use a single quote like that, and that would also work. Or if you want to use double quotes, you would use what's known as the escape character, and that escapes the second quote and then outputs it on the screen. So what I would suggest is going with the single quote character. And I'm actually going to suggest to Justin that he updates the code to match that, because that's easy to remember, the single quote. And single quotes inside of double quotes in a string, you see, because this is a string here, this whole section is a string. And the double quotes indicates it as a string, but you can use single quotes as well. But you can do single quotes inside of a double quote, and the single quote is then parsed and rendered correctly. So that would be my recommendation, is to use single quotes instead of the escape character. So I'm going to leave a note for Justin on that one. In fact, I don't even need to leave a note for him. I can just actually leave a note to myself on the course. So we're going a little bit over time here, folks. I do apologize. If you've got other things to do, you're welcome to hop off. But I just want to update that ticket. Custom fonts. And it's lesson 2. And set the font family to use single quotes inside double quotes strings. Instead of needing to use the escape character. Okay. So that was a fun little experiment. Thanks for bringing that to light, Linda. Okay. So let's refresh that. That should all still work. Now will probably be, what am I doing? Now will hopefully be single quote. I'm gonna have to find, there it is, font family, island moments. Oh, it's still double quoted. I didn't think I changed it. Oh, probably because it has been applied, so I'm gonna have to refresh everything and all that. Because that's a good point. Because what happens when you edit your site and you apply a style is that it stores it in the database. So if we go and have a look at this record, you'll see it's now set that whole style as the custom style. So the whole thing has been set. So what you would need to then do is reset to defaults and save. And then you could apply your island style, which would work. Save that. And now if you view that in the browser, which it's over here, now we should see that the name has changed. What am I doing? I want to see page source. I want to inspect. No, not cyan blue. Island moments. There it is. So now it's single quoted. No, not at all. Not at all, Linda. It's good. It's good. This is one of the reasons I do the live streams, because I'm still figuring some of these things out myself. I am, whenever I'm developing a theme, I'm just getting the fonts and the whatever else from the designer, and I just apply it as they suggest. So I never question those things. So it's good to ask those questions and we can figure them out together. So yeah, so that's me figuring out things. Cool. Okay, I think I'm going to, so why not add, I'm going to put that, why not add fonts to the style instead of in the main theme.json. I just want to see if there's a reason why you might do it that way, because it does work the other way. There's that note there. Probably not going to make a note about the whole font thing, because probably not going to make that mistake in the workshop. But I do have a note to myself about, remember, okay, what happens when the style is applied. It's added to the record in the database. So we can cover that in the workshop. Just thinking about what else I did. So, oh yes, and then make a note about how complicated it is to manually create a style, rather use create block theme, which we did in the beginning. So I might do it the other way around. I might do the manual themes style option, and then I'm just going to make a note to myself that fonts in create block theme seem broken currently. ... So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to create a variation manually, and I'll just change the colors maybe, because that'll be easy to apply, because it's just the style section. Yeah, so I'll do it manually, and then I'll create something more complex using create block theme, and then that'll be the workshop. Yeah, I think that's everything. I think that's everything I need to cover. I think the fact that it took me an hour means I can probably get an hour and a half workshop out of it. So yes, thank you everybody for joining me today. It was cool to have you all here. I'm going to be doing these every Tuesday. So I'm going to be diving into these kind of things and figuring that out myself along with you all. So please feel free to ask questions as we go. And if you want to join me on Thursday to see the more polished version with slides and preparation, please do. It'll be at 2 p.m. UTC on Thursday. And if you want to work along with me, please bring your WordPress installation and your site editor and your code editor, and you can work along with me. But that's the stream for today. Thanks all for joining me. I'll probably delete the other failed one. And I'll upload this one to my YouTube channel if you need to see it later, which you can find on YouTube somewhere. I'll try and find the link next time. So awesome. Thanks, folks. Thanks for joining me. Should I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of you. Thank you all 12 for joining me. I'm out.